Imagine standing amidst the mist-covered hills of Scotland more than 1,500 years ago. Before you, emerging from the fog, are towering figures, their bodies covered in elaborate tattoos and vibrant war paint. These are no ordinary warriors. These are the Picts, the painted people, a name given to them by the mighty Roman Empire itself. The Romans, confident in their invincible legions of steel, marched north time and again, intent on swallowing this land whole. Yet, each time, they returned with shattered armies, carrying grim tales of wild men from the land of mist. The Picts never fought by Rome's rules. They did not form neat lines, wear bronze armor, or strike when their enemies were prepared. They would vanish into the deep forests, leave false trails, and suddenly reappear like ghosts, surrounding and destroying their foes before they even knew what was happening. What's remarkable is that, despite having terrified the greatest empire in the world, the Picts left no written records of their own, no chronicles, no annals, no epic sagas. All that remains are colossal ancient stones carved with mysterious symbols, mythical beasts, circles, mirrors, combs, repeating across their lands. These stones stand unyielding against time, challenging archaeologists and linguists alike. They are not mere art. They could be a coded language of a civilization that once forced Rome to build walls to keep them out. The Picts faded into the shadows of history, but their mark remains, on stone, in legend, and perhaps in the blood of millions of Scots today. To understand how the Picts could survive and even thrive right under the nose of the Roman Empire, we must look at the land they called home. At its height, the Pictish kingdom stretched from the River Forth in the south to the harsh mountains of northern Scotland. It was a land both magnificent and unforgiving, valleys shrouded in mist, deep bogs, dense forests, and jagged coastlines. This environment became their natural ally. According to Roman accounts, the Picts wore almost no clothing, only iron chains at the neck or waist, displaying their tattoos and battle designs in full. This was not just a show of physical strength and endurance in the cold, but also psychological warfare, unnerving and distracting their enemies from the very first glance. What made the Picts truly dangerous, however, was not their appearance, but their military intellect. They rarely met the Roman legions, famed for their dense formations and iron discipline, in direct combat. Instead, they practiced guerrilla tactics, feigned retreats to draw enemies into difficult terrain, then sudden ambushes from forest or bog. These false defeats trapped Roman forces repeatedly, splitting their ranks and destroying them quickly. Their success was no accident. They understood Rome's weaknesses, dependence on formation and supply lines, and struck precisely at those points. They used speed, concealment, and intimate knowledge of the land to turn even Rome's elite warriors into lost, hungry, and vulnerable targets. Rome built massive walls, such as Hadrian's and Antonin's, to hold the Picts back. But history shows that no matter how high the wall, the Picts found ways to cross, or made the enemy afraid to enter at all. If there was a single day when Pictish history shone brightest, it was May 20th, 685 AD, the day of the Battle of Nectansmere. This was not just a major battle, but a flawless display of Pictish military art, marking a permanent turning point for the region. At the time, the Kingdom of Northumbria was a colossal power in Britain, stretching from Sheffield to Edinburgh. They had reduced the Picts to vassals, forced to pay tribute and obey. But under King Bride Mac Beally, the Picts refused to live in submission. News of the Picts' rebellion reached King Egfrith of Northumbria. Confident in his military might, Egfrith led a large army north to crush the uprising. But he did not know he was walking into one of the most sophisticated military traps of the medieval era. Bride used the same tactic his ancestors had employed against Rome, the feigned retreat. The Picts withdrew deep into their territory, luring Northumbria's cavalry far from infantry support and supply lines. The deeper the prey went, the tighter the trap became. When Egfrith and his cavalry reached the area near Llangaren, where hills encircled a large loch and marshland, the Picts struck from all sides. Northumbria's cavalry, dominant on open ground, became helpless when bogged down in mud and steep slopes. In the chaos, Egfrith was killed along with most of his army. Northumbria lost thousands of men and forever forfeited control of the north. This victory not only freed the Picts from domination, but also paved the way for the eventual formation of an independent Scotland. Nectansmere became a symbol of resilience and strategic brilliance, proof that a small nation could defeat a great empire if it knew how to use its strengths. Though famed for their military feats, the Picts' greatest legacy was not left on the battlefield, but in the form of massive standing stones scattered across Scotland. These were not just stones, they were the only surviving pages of a civilization with no written history. Today, archaeologists have documented around 350 Pictish stones still standing. The original number may have been triple that, as many were destroyed, reused in later construction, or lost to time. Their surfaces bear intricate carvings, mythical beasts, circles, swords, mirrors, combs, and repeating geometric designs. What's fascinating is that these symbols are far from random. They appear in consistent proportions and sequences, repeating across multiple stones in different regions. This has led many scholars to believe they represent a formal writing system, perhaps heraldic crests recording the names and lineages of powerful families. If true, this would make it one of the oldest stone-carved scripts in Europe. Researchers classify Pictish stones into three groups. Class 1, from the 5th–7th centuries, symbols carved directly into natural stone, showing no Christian influence. Class 2, from the 7th–9th centuries, combining Pictish symbols with the cross, reflecting the process of Christianization. Class 3, entirely Christian, with no traditional symbols, marking a cultural transformation. These stones are the only windows we have into the minds and hearts of the Pictish people. They reveal that the Picts were not only warriors, but also artisans, masters of symbolism, and storytellers in images. And the greatest mystery, even after centuries, no one has fully deciphered the stone language of the Picts. Each stone is like a message from the past, waiting for modern minds to find the key to open a long-forgotten door of history. For many years, historians believed that Pictish Scotland consisted only of small villages scattered among the mountains and forests. That view changed completely when modern archaeological technology, from drones to LiDAR scanning, revealed a shocking truth. The Picts had built actual cities more than 1,500 years ago. One of the most sensational discoveries is Tap o' Noth in Aberdeenshire. From above, scientists saw massive stone walls encircling a hilltop. Detailed surveys uncovered the remains of over 800 houses, enough to accommodate 4,000 people. If this figure is correct, Tap o' Noth in the 5th–6th centuries rivaled the largest cities in post-Roman Europe. Remarkably, the fortifications here show signs of vitrification, stone melted and fused by extremely high heat. How the Picts achieved such intense temperatures remains a mystery, though it may have involved weaving timber into the stone walls and setting it ablaze to reinforce them. The Picts also ruled the seas. Burghead in Murray has been revealed as a vast naval base with triple defensive ramparts, both a fortress and an administrative hub for controlling trade through the Murray Firth. From here, they could monitor passing ships and safeguard vital trade routes. Evidence from sites such as Rhynie shows that the Pictish elite drank Mediterranean wine from French glass goblets, wore intricate silver jewelry, and traded widely across Europe. Their economy was not only powered by advanced agriculture, but also by an international trade network, clear proof that the Picts were a sophisticated, wealthy, and influential society. These discoveries completely shatter the barbarian image painted by Rome, revealing a civilization that could wield a sword on the battlefield, build fortified cities, construct harbors, and sustain economic connections far beyond Scotland's borders. For centuries, the origins of the Picts remained a mystery, fueling endless scholarly debate. Medieval chroniclers like Bede claimed they migrated from Scythia, near the Black Sea, sailing across the sea to settle in Scotland. More romantic theories imagine them as nomadic warriors from the east, or as a people who appeared from nowhere and vanished without a trace. All those stories were challenged in 2023 when a team of scientists from the University of Aberdeen published groundbreaking research in the journal PLOS Genetics. They analyzed ancient DNA from Pictish burials at London Links and Ballintor using the most advanced genome sequencing technology. The results completely changed what we thought we knew. The Picts were not migrants from distant lands. They were the indigenous people of Scotland, direct descendants of Iron Age communities that had lived there for thousands of years. Their bloodlines flowed unbroken through the centuries, shaping a distinct culture strong enough to defy the Roman Empire. Intriguingly, the genetic data also shows very close links between the Picts and modern populations in Western Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Northumbria. In other words, if you come from these areas, it's possible that when you look at a Pictish stone, you are looking at the heritage of your own ancestors. The DNA research also offered new insights into an age-old question: did the Picts truly follow a matrilineal system, passing kingship through the female line? The results suggest Pictish society was more complex. While some royal lists indicate maternal succession, overall their inheritance system combined elements of both maternal and paternal lines. The greatest mystery has now been solved. The Picts never vanished. They are part of the living bloodline of modern Scotland, still here, though their name and language have changed. After centuries of independence and resistance, the 9th century marked a new turning point in Pictish history, not a bloody battle, but a political union. Around 843 AD, a man named Kenneth MacAlpin emerged, carrying both Pictish and Gaelic Scot blood. For generations before, the two kingdoms had been loosely linked through royal marriages, cultural exchange, and military alliances. So, when Kenneth MacAlpin became king of both, it was not so much a conquest as a union long in the making. This unified realm was called Alba, the first form of medieval Scotland. Over the following century, Gaelic gradually replaced the Pictish language, and many Pictish customs and symbols blended into the new culture. This was not an erasure, but an absorption. The Pictish legacy became part of the backbone of Scottish identity. The Picts brought to Alba their centuries of military experience against Rome and Northumbria, along with their advanced systems of social organization, agriculture, and trade. In return, the Scots contributed Gaelic cultural influence and wider connections to Celtic communities in Ireland and overseas. Over time, the name Pict disappeared from historical records. By the 10th century, chroniclers spoke only of Scotland, but DNA, art, and legend still preserved part of the Pictish soul. Interestingly, even after the Union, tales of the Picts, the tattooed warriors from the north, continued to be told, both to intimidate enemies and to remind Scots that they were born from a people who could stand firm against any empire. Today, if you walk through the misty valleys of the Highlands, or visit old villages in eastern Scotland, you may still find Pictish stones standing tall in the fields. They are not just archaeological relics, they are silent witnesses to more than 1,500 years of history. DNA studies prove that the Picts never disappeared. They are the ancestors of millions in Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and even parts of Northern England today. Whenever you meet someone with Celtic heritage from these areas, there is a chance they carry a piece of Pictish legacy within them. Archaeologists continue to uncover new clues. In 2024, at Aberlin and Dice, 2 new Pictish symbol stones were found, their carvings so clear and sharp they seemed almost untouched by time. In the Rhynie Valley, excavations revealed what may have been a royal Pictish power center, where kings and chieftains once made decisions that shaped the fate of the land. Each new discovery adds another piece to the portrait of a civilization long misunderstood. The Picts were not savages, as Rome claimed, but social architects, master craftsmen, and military strategists. They built cities, commanded seas, traded internationally, created unique art, and left deep imprints in the genes and culture of modern Scotland. And when you stand before a Pictish stone with the cold wind and highland mist swirling around you, remember that you are touching the handprint of your ancestors, people who resisted empires, defended their homeland, and carved their story into both stone and blood. The Picts never vanished, they are still here, in the earth, in the stone, and in us.